Well, we've got a final upon us. We've got a final coming up. It's at the weekend on Sunday. What is the time? It's going to be at 4:30. Chelsea versus Liverpool. EFL Cup Final, Carabao Cup Final, whatever you want to call it. It's a cup final indeed. I think it's going to be a hard match. We'll get into all that sort of stuff. Lineups, who's going to be available, who's going to be fit and available, all that sort of business. What is going to happen? I'm going to err on the side of caution in terms of likes of Diogo Jota, in terms of if he's fit, great, awesome. But if not, I think we've got a good solid lineup that we can put together, and I'll tell you what that is in a couple of minutes, I'm sure. In the meantime, I hope you guys are doing really, really well. I hope you guys are keeping safe, keeping as good as you can do at the moment with everything that's going on, wherever you are in the world. I just hope that you're okay, hope you're good, hope you're safe, and just hope that everything's going all right for you. And hopefully, fingers crossed, Liverpool can give us a good result this weekend as well, which would put another trophy in the cabinet for Jurgen Klopp and, of course, Liverpool as well. I'm going to give you I'm not really going to go into too much statistical detail or anything like that. I'm just going to give you my thoughts on likes of Chelsea and the thoughts of Liverpool at the moment as well. And I'm just going to go through and form a prediction of how I think this game is going to go down during my talking. Hope you guys can get on board with that. Anyway, when I look at Chelsea last year and they go out and win, it was last year, wasn't it? They go out and win the Champions League in the style that they did when they had Lampard that was in charge and it looked like they were just tanking. Thomas Tuchel comes in, takes them all the way to the final, beats a difficult Man City team, and wins the Champions League. You wouldn't have seen that coming months ago. You just wouldn't have seen that coming like earlier on in the year when Lampard was in charge, that Chelsea were going to win the Champions League. There's just no chance. No one, maybe ardent and, very, very fanatic Chelsea fans, maybe they will have backed it and thought that, yeah, that's going to happen, totally going to happen. But I would have found it hard to believe. They pulled it off. They did it. They went and won the Champions League. And I thought they were going to follow a similar sort of path to how Liverpool did. We won the Champions League and then we went and did the Premier League as well, especially with the recruitment that Chelsea have had over the last couple of years as well. With bringing in the likes of Timo Werner, Kai Havertz and Romelu Lukaku just as a couple of players. Never mind the likes of even Thiago Silva coming in as well, having Eduard Mendy, who I hadn't heard of. But what an acquisition he's been. He's going to be a nightmare to play against because he's one of the best goalkeepers in the world right now. Definitely top three, and I don't know which order. That top three just keeps changing. Anyway, I thought that that's what they were going to do. I thought they were going to go in and they were going to absolutely be the guys that were going to challenge City for the league. I didn't necessarily think it was going to be us this year challenging City for the league because I just felt because of how last year went for us, I didn't know whether I was very vocal at the time, thinking like, is this going to be like the end of the road for some of these players? For Liverpool, is this refresh going to happen? Are we going to miss the boat on this one? Are we going to start slipping? Turns out it's actually sort of been a little bit of the other way round, where we are the people that are challenging Man City for the league, and everybody else is just behind. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. That is just literally how it is. The fact that we are now, just a couple of weeks ago, we were like 12 or 13 points behind Man City, and now we're 3 points behind as it stands right now with a slightly better goal difference. It's a testament to how football can change in just literally a matter of days, weeks, months. Things can just look so completely different. It is unreal. And I would say, if I'm looking at Chelsea at the moment, just saying, like, taking this season as face value from what they did last year in terms of the Champions League win and everything like that, and the recruitment they had since then, where they are in the Premier League right now, I would be disappointed because they should be number 2 or number 1 with the recruitment they had, the amount of money that has been put into the team as well, and the fact that they spent like 98 million on Lukaku, who had a great couple of seasons at Inter Milan, had a great couple of seasons, won the I don't know what they call their trophy, to be honest, but they won Serie A, and then he comes back to Chelsea, and the man is not firing. Obviously, I'm not saying that the man is not a clever man, but if Thomas Tuchel's a clever man on Sunday against Liverpool, he doesn't start Lukaku. He goes with Kai Havertz instead. I don't really know what's happened with Timo Werner, like whether he's literally just a bench player these days, but he turned up from RB Leipzig And he was on fire in the Bundesliga. He was scoring loads of goals, probably I think second only at one point to Lewandowski, which is no mean feat. You know, it's one of them. He's a great goal scorer, and Timo Werner was. Comes to Chelsea, guy can't hit a barn door. Like I don't know what has happened with them transferring over from one league to another. Lukaku's played in this league before and scored quite a few goals as well, but now he's struggling again. I don't really get it. I don't know what is going on with these guys. But clearly, in my mind, I'm thinking he's going with Havertz up front because he offers more, in my opinion. And Lukaku and maybe Werner, if they're not injured or whatever's going on with those guys, if those guys are coming off the bench, then they'll probably be more dangerous that way. You know, fresher legs and all that sort of business. And they'd be a much more dangerous prospect that way round. The way I look at Chelsea is they are so difficult to play against sometimes and hard to break down because of the back three and also the quality of the goalkeeper. You can't take away anything that Mendy does because he's a very good goalkeeper. And whoever found him, there was a rumor, I don't know whether it was confirmed or not, that Petr Cech had a hand in finding him and bringing him to Chelsea. If that's true, that's a hell of a thing to do because and I mean that in a positive way for Chelsea because he has been an outstanding goalkeeper, if not the best goalkeeper in the league right now. And then you've got the combative midfield and N'Golo Kante, Jorginho, depending on where Azpilicueta is going to play, and Marcos Alonso. Alonso seems to be the one that Chelsea fans are really worried about coming up against Salah. Look, it's a game-by-game basis. Knockout games and cup games and finals and such like that are so different to just a regular game in like the Premier League where like you're just ticking on. You're ticking on. There's more at stake. You've got a trophy on the line here as well. Like both teams, both sets of players are going to be wanting to win with their absolute utmost that they can give. And I truly believe whatever Chelsea fans think about Alonso coming up against Salah, or what we think about Salah coming up against Alonso and some of these players and such like that as well. It doesn't really matter when it comes to a cup game, in my opinion. Now, that is just my opinion. It's not the be all and end all. I'm not an expert. I'm not a pro. I'm not a former pro or anything like that. It's just my opinion, and that is just how I feel. Now, if we're going to look at things from a Liverpool perspective, at the moment, things could not look much better. We're a couple of weeks ago, we're thinking City have won the title, that's it, we've just got to go for the other cup competitions. Now we're still well in it, obviously, on all fronts. We are ahead in the first leg against Inter Milan in the Champions League, obviously still in the FA Cup as well, obviously in the final of this cup, and very well up there in the Premier League as well, 3 points behind Manchester City. And I'm not going to lie, we do look good. Now, a lot of people would probably turn around and say, anyone that's watched this channel for a little bit, for at least a minute, I can be a little bit pessimistic and realistic as well. And they do sort of go hand in hand sometimes, but I don't like to count my chickens before they've hatched, if you know what I mean. I don't like to get ahead of myself and get too excited and all that sort of business. I like to look at things in a rational sort of way. Chelsea are going to be a dangerous team as much as Liverpool are going to be a dangerous team. Those are just facts. These are two high quality teams that are going to be coming up against each other, and two Champions League winners in recent times as well. Obviously, I'm hoping that Liverpool will go and win this one. And with the lineup that I think that we'll go with, I think we've had it confirmed. A lot of people keep saying, obviously, the form of Alisson at the moment, that he should be in goal. Klopp had said weeks or if not months ago that it was going to be Kelleher in goal. And that stance, I don't think, has changed. Unless Kelleher somehow picks up an injury, I don't think that that's going to change. And I don't think it should. I think Kelleher has done more than enough, despite Alisson's form, everything like that. Kelleher has done more than enough to warrant a starting place in that lineup. I understand. I'm all for Alisson playing the game, but Kelleher's earned his stripes and he's earned his chance to at least appear in the final. You can't take that away from him. You really can't. This isn't like a Karius sort of situation where he was a dodgy keeper and all that sort of stuff at some point, but somehow had like 9 clean sheets in the Champions League, just not in the final. It's not like that. Kelleher's a quality keeper. Yes, he's young. It's going to be a lot of pressure. He's going to be coming up against Chelsea, but you know what? Let him face that pressure. Let him have that chance. And if it comes down to a goalkeeping error, people would say, well, we should have had Alisson. You can already see the script. But I fully believe and trust in Kelleher in goal. I fully do, especially with what will be in front of him in terms of the defence. I think they're going to help each other out so much. I think you're going to be looking at the rest, apart from Kelleher, and no offence to the lad, I think you're going to be looking at the rest of it being like a standard first team in terms of the players. What I think it will be, Trent Alexander-Arnold. I think it will be Ibrahima Konate next to Virgil van Dijk and Andy Robertson. That's the defence. Now, the reason for Konate, he seems to come in for, and I'm not saying that Matip's not a big game player, but I think to be able to have someone like Konate come in to these big games, big occasions, he's got a lot more. The one thing that he has over Joel Matip, despite Matip's excellent, fantastic forward run and goal against Leeds midweek, fantastic, love to see it, and I hope he does it more. just not against Chelsea. Is obviously that Konate's got a bit more pace about him as well. I'd say he's probably a little bit more agile than Matip as well. And combining, when I saw Konate play with Van Dijk, against Inter Milan as well, for me, it's sort of set in my mind. Big game player, excellent partnership. Anyone you put next to Van Dijk, I would say, would have a good game. But Konate looks like he's growing, and I think that Konate will be in the back line for this one as well. I think if I go into the midfield, I think you're going to see, what midfield is our best midfield at the moment? I'm not entirely sure what our best is, but I think it's a combination of Fabinho, Thiago, and whoever else. Now, for a final, I think it has to be Jordan Henderson. I really, truly believe it has to be Jordan Henderson. Regardless of what people might think online, I don't actually really care about what people think on likes of Twitter and that. This is just my opinion. I think you need that leadership from the get-go, from the first minute to the last, if you can get there to the last. If not, you've got a lot of other players that can come on as well. But I think I would like to see Fabinho is a must. Needs to be in that midfield, especially when you're going to be coming up against Kante and Jorginho as well as others that might flood into the midfield as well. If someone comes up, like a Rudiger comes running through the midfield, or maybe Christensen, or I don't really know the rest of their centre backs. That's quite bad. Or whether whether as Piliqueta or Alonso are they going to cut in? That's where you need someone like a Fabinho, who is an absolute nightmare for oppositions because of his ball winning ability without committing a foul. Which is what likes of Fernandinho used to always get away with, never used to get yellow cards, but he would give fouls away left, right and centre just because he was trying to win the ball back. I think Fabinho's a bit more astute at doing that. Thiago is a must, is an absolute must if he's fit. And if he's fit, he's got to start. He has to start because he can dictate how he can change games just like that. His control of a game is just his management in the game, and being able to run that midfield alongside players like Fabinho and Henderson. I think that could be key to us in this, to getting a victory against Chelsea. And the front line, like I said at the start of the video, I'm going to err on the side of caution and say that Jota's not available, or at best, he'll be starting on the bench, which isn't a bad position for him to be in. He's just had an injury. Probably best not starting the guy, in a high-intensity match like this. For me, it's going to be a front line of Luis Diaz on the left-hand side, Sadio Mane through the middle, Mohamed Salah on the right-hand side. And for me, that whole 11 is strong enough to win this game against any team that Chelsea put out. And I'll say again, against any team that Chelsea put out. Now, Chelsea will challenge us, absolutely no doubt about it. They've got the quality. They've got strength in depth as well. I don't know if they've got anybody. I haven't got a list of injuries or anything like that at the moment, so which I should have had, to be fair. But yeah, I don't. They've got some strength in depth. They've got players they can bring in off the bench as well. I don't know whether it's going to be Mendy in goal or whether it's going to be Kepa. I can't remember if Kepa has been their cup goalkeeper or not, or whether he would retain his place anyway. Regardless, Kepa actually seems to be pretty decent this season. Anyway, and Mendy's a very, very, very good goalkeeper as well. So it doesn't seem to matter which goalkeeper they go with. It's gonna be a tough one. How do I see this game going out? I think there's going to be goals in the 90 minutes. I'm not sure whether it's going to be over in 90 minutes. And then I can't remember if it goes to extra time and penalties or if it just goes straight to penalties. I can't remember, so I can't give you any of that info. Should have looked that up as well. Never mind. Anyway, I think Liverpool can win this in 90 minutes, but I think it's going to be I think it's going to be tight. It's going to be really tough. I've got 2-2 in my head. It's just ringing around my head. It's got 2-2, a Desmond, as they would say in London. I'm hoping it's not 2-2. Obviously everybody would love it to be a clean sheet. I'd love it to be a clean sheet. Liverpool walk out of there 2-0 and grab the trophy and just get back to business in the Premier League or whatever is coming up next for us. It's the FA Cup actually. After that, it's Liverpool v Norwich for us after that. So yeah, we'll get back to cup action, I guess. But even so, I think that Liverpool can go out there and win this, and we can do it in 90 minutes. I'm gonna say. I'm going to say it's 2-1. I'm going to go 2-1 Liverpool, which is obviously it's a very common score prediction on this channel, if anybody knows, anybody's watched. But I think it's going to be, like I said earlier, it's two high-quality teams coming up against each other. I'm not entirely sure. What I could do, actually, is just have a quick look at Chelsea's form recently. Like, they've won their last 6 games. Doesn't matter where they've won it. They've won, obviously, the Club World Cup as well. But, yeah, like, their last loss was against Manchester City. Their last draw was against Brighton. But all in all, they've won their last 6 games. They're on a good bit of, good run of form. They won against Lille, won against Palace. It's going to be difficult. 2 informed teams coming up against each other with different styles, but high intensity for both teams anyway. Yeah, it's going to be tough. But I'm going 2-1 Liverpool. And I think we can do it. I think we should be confident that we can do it as well and have faith. Have faith in Kelleher. I guarantee. I think he's going to have a good game. That's all I'll say about that anyway. Let me know what you think in the comments below ahead of the game this weekend. How are you feeling about it? Who do you think is going to play? How do you think Chelsea are going to set up? How do you think Liverpool are going to set up? And what do you think the final result will be? Who walks out of there with the trophy in hand? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thank you ever so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed it, please do feel free to hit that like button and subscribe if you're new around here. Please do take care of yourselves. Have a wonderful weekend, and I will certainly catch you at some point for a review. Might be Sunday, might be Monday. I'll see how I go. Anyway, for now, take care of yourselves, and I'll catch you later.